Hi, welcome to Thursday Night Reading Sprints. I'm joined by two lovely friends tonight, one of whom I've done several podcasts with, but have not actually been on screen with before, so this is fun. And Kasia, who's been on the sprints lots and lots, but seems to be frozen on my end. So let us know in the comments if you can see Kasia, if she's moving. We're happy for her to be here, even if she's a kind of lovely frozen image. So, sprints tonight. I have got many things I want to do. So let us know in the comments what you are planning to do. If you're reading, writing, panic, doing everything like I'm planning to do. How about you, Claire? Have you got any plans for the sprints tonight?
I have a pile of stuff next to me. I don't know whether I need to summarize for one of the podcast episodes. I don't know which book to read. I have a choice. I have a manuscript I can go through. I might be productive like you, but I might just enjoy some quiet reading time.
Yeah, what are the books that are in that pile? I think I recognise it's one of those V. Schwab book.
Yes, so I'm not going to say resolution this year because I never keep resolutions. But one of my intentions this year is to not just read podcast books and to actually get my own in there and to go through my TBR pile. And I've had City of Ghosts for a couple of years now, and it's Ghosts, my bag. Edinburgh, gorgeous city. I would happily live in Edinburgh, but I've not read it yet. So I mean, look how fresh that is.
I think you will love that because they're my favourite V. Schwab books, and I love her very much. And they're my favourite and my best. And the second one's Paris, and the third one's New Orleans. So I feel like you kind of can't beat those settings.
Well, I've been to Paris, but I haven't been to New Orleans yet. But I mean, me and the husband were looking at the cost of travel there.
Yay.
So we will get there eventually. But the second option I do have is for Vampire Book Club with Fictional Hangover. And we're covering the Twilight series at the moment, and we're doing New Moon next. And I haven't started it. I do need to, and I do want to.
So I put it on my TBR for this month. Like, I'm going to join you. I'm going to be strong. But I don't love New Moon, so I'm a bit like, oh, do I want to reread this book that I don't love? Or shall I just watch the film and pretend I read it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, as everybody who is a Fictional Hangover listener knows, you can have very in-depth summaries provided for you by us before book club. So you don't have to even read the book. We are so in-depth, you can use them for homework, and we know for a fact people have. So I don't know which one I'm going to... I might do both. I might have a little sprint with one and a sprint with another.
I might start it, see how much I hate everyone, and then read the summary if I do hate them. I don't know whether Kev, who's my husband who's watching, said that Cash, you I think are a little bit frozen, but I'm hoping we can hear you.
She clicks off the link.
Yeah, we've already tried that again. Sorry, helpful husband's telling us to try things, but I think we've tried. We've exhausted the options. Are you happy, Kasia, to kind of carry on being slightly frozen?
Yeah, it's fine. As long as I will be the voice in the room.
Yeah, it's just we all know what technology is like. So obviously you may not be. If you hold up the books, we might see them in 10 minutes or something. But what are you planning to read in the sprints tonight?
So I have to read new books this month, so I am gonna let people choose for me. You probably cannot see it, but I have The Drift by C.J. Tudor.
Yes, I love C.J.
And I have, I've read everything else by her, so it's just fair that I pick up the new one.
Yeah.
And then I have How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. So those are my two options.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't know which one to pick.
They're both pretty epic options, aren't they? I have started How to Sell a Haunted House. I'm struggling slightly because my feelings about books about grief, and it's a lot about grief at the minute. And a mum who's feeling really bad about being away from her child, and I'm a bit like, oh, these are things I struggle with. So I don't know. It's not the book, it's definitely me. I think it's probably an amazing book, but it's like pushing all my pressure points at the minute. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish that one, but I think you will like it. And I love all of C.J. Tudor's I've read so far. So
yeah,
I don't know
what to do.
Claire, do you have any strong feelings about those two books? What would you read out of those two?
I would go Grady Hendrix, but I do like Grady Hendrix. I always think with his books, not everyone is a winner for me. But you have to push through. And once you push through and you get to the Grady Hendrix twist, trademark, really kicks off. Like
Yeah.
the Southern Vampire.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
struggled with that really badly until like the actual horror, the Grady Hendrix twist kicked in, and then I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I need in my life.
I wonder, maybe if she stops feeling bad about absolutely everything that would make me feel bad as well. Maybe when like the horror starts, there's lots of creepy dolls, and I don't think it's too much of a spoiler because they're right there from the very beginning. I think it's going to be a creepy doll thing. So maybe when I get to the creepy dolls actually doing horrible things, I'll be okay.
Can you survive after reading Frozen Charlotte? That's my question. Can you cope with more creepy dolls after reading that creepy book?
Oh God, it's so creepy, isn't it? I mean, I think it was a good choice for the first month. I don't think anybody was too terribly emotionally damaged by it, hopefully.
More
it's
curious
very
than anything
scary.
else.
It's a lot scarier than I remembered, actually. As I was reading it, I was like, whoops, I hope everybody else likes this. But luckily, I think it seems to be mostly a hit for people. Was it a hit from you? That's good. I got the picture hangover approval. And you enjoyed it too, Kasia, didn't you?
Yeah, just, I don't get scared by dolls. I like creepy dolls, and, it's really hard. I find it really hard to find a book that actually scares me, so it's really hard. And when I go to the cinema to watch horror movies, it's best for me to watch them home, because then I see the reaction of people, in the audience. Because for me, I don't jump, I don't get grossed out by things, like I am so unsensitized at this point.
I was going to say that, like, you say creepy dolls don't scare you, but I don't think I've ever heard you say, and that really scared me. Ever.
No, like it's been a long time since I was a teenager, probably, that something actually got me scared. So it's hard. I struggle to find things that really creep me out.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoy horror anyway,
Yeah, I think I'm worse now than when I was a teenager, because some stuff I read as a teenager was like, blood, more blood. I read it now and I'm like, oh my God, I read that then. Like,
that's what normal people reation is.
Yeah, I think I'm becoming like normal.
It's not me, but that's normal.
How about you, Claire? I feel like you're a bit more like me. Are you a slight scaredy cat, but we'll still do it anyway?
Yeah, it depends on the horror as well. Like, I don't mind a slasher horror book. So, like, Clown in the Cornfield is brilliant, especially because it has the 90s feel, the 90s horror feel. But don't take me to see Hostel. I'm not into those type of like actual slasher movies, because it just feels like it's gore for the sake of gore. It's like going to a restaurant and getting the extra hot because you know it's going to blow your taste buds. There's no actual flavour to it.
That's a good way of putting it. I'm going to remember that one. That's exactly how I feel. It's almost like you're on podcast or something and you're really good at wording things.
Thank you. Yeah, but I think it depends on the creep factor as well, of what, like, the one thing that really creeps me out, and Amanda, co-host on Fictional Hangover, loves to remind me of and find books with this aspect in, is anything in walls. I don't know why, but I do not like things in walls. And I'm going to blame watching a horror movie at too young an age has given me that childhood trauma. So if that aspect is in, I'm like, ooh, that's creepy. I don't like that. Thank you very much. But I like psychological horror. I like things that play on your mind and get really just itchy. I remember saying to Dawn Kurtagich that one of like her books in particular just itches when I read it, and it's there all the time, and that's a huge compliment. Yeah, but I'm not freaked out. I like it playing on my mind. I like to think about it. Probably too much.
Horror is interesting, I think, because it can go really well or really badly, can't it? Like, some stuff, like you watch romance, you're like, it's romance, I might really like it or I might like it. But horror can like really polarize people, I think. Like, it can absolutely ruin your day or can be the best thing. Like, you can lay there not able to sleep. Like, I can remember when we watched Paranormal Activity. It didn't scare me, but a couple of people we were with were absolutely and completely spooked to the point where a sign blew over in front of us as we were walking out the cinema, and they nearly cried, both of them. And it's so weird, isn't it, how you can watch the same film and have a completely different reaction. And I might have that night stood and pretended to rock a little bit to freak somebody out, like they do in the film.
I'd be upset if you didn't, to be fair.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be done. Like, yes. I don't know, horror movies like that I can't take too seriously, but then it really scared some of the people we were with. So Okay, on the subject of horror movies, I have to admit to both of you, I know you want to read this. I'm going to read a bit further negative.
Oh my
if
god, I
anyone-
cannot wait. I'm so
mean,
excited for that book.
If anybody hasn't heard of it, Josh wrote this awesome fantasy book, which is adult but sort of YA crossover, that has a Dark Crystal, like puppets vibe, 80s puppets come to life sort of thing. This one is a girl who starred in a horror movie in the 90s that was really iconic but cursed, and like everybody except her involved in it, something tragic happened to them. And then they're remaking it, of course, and she's the reporter who's been assigned to cover it. What could go wrong? And it's just great. I've read the first chapter. I wasn't meant to. I cheated. I'm reading a million other things at the minute, but I thought I'll just read a page or two. And then I've read like 13 and thought, okay, I'm in it now. So my reward is to read this, but I am also meant to be writing 1,000 words of one thing and editing a chapter of another thing. So if I can do the two things, then I can read this thing.
That is motivation. That is pure motivation.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can do all this juggling. I don't normally juggle multiple projects. I blame my friend Mia is doing like a beta read of something that I've worked on at the minute, and she gave me this idea that I'm like, oh god, I've really got to see this through now, but I also should be writing this other thing that I'm actually contracted to write. So everything's fine, absolutely. I'm going to go to the comments.
Or do I do the other thing? It's always the question.
I mean, thank you, Stephen, for reading along with us. We appreciate it. Oh, Kev was giving helpful or not helpful comments. I have never heard of Isn't It Bromantic? That sounds like a romance.
Yes.
Oh, Romance for February. Got it. I didn't actually think of that when I was saying my TBR. Is that bad that I didn't even remember it as Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I have one. That's going to be it. I have Double Date by Earl Stein, a Fear Street book.
Excellent. That's about as romantic as I think I'd get to.
Yes.
Heartstoppers.
Yes, actually.
It's Lover's Lane on Fictional Hangover this month as our book challenge theme. And to be fair, I think most of what we're covering, Heartstoppers. And if you've never read it, our episode that dropped yesterday is Patricia Wants to Cuddle by Samantha Allen, and it's about a lady Sasquatch. And it has the Grady Hendrix twist.
Oh, cool.
It's such a fun read. So if you can get your hands on it, there's an audio book as well, and it's in publication. It's such a fun story. It's Bachelorette, like a Bachelor style reality TV program, and they go to a little island in the North Pacific, and there's a Sasquatch in residence, and that's all I'm going to say. You have to read it.
That sounds amazing.
Is
it
really
hard to get hold of that, or?
No, you can get it on. If you have no, I am not sponsored. Amazon have it on their Kindle Unlimited, I believe.
Oh, cool. Okay, I don't know that I have Kindle Unlimited. I have Kindle, so I can probably just buy it on there.
Surprisingly, I don't, but I managed to source it from a library, so
cool.
it is out there.
Oh, cool. Okay,
and it is on Audible as well.
I think I'm gonna have to add that to my list. Not like I don't have already 20 odd books on there. Hi, Reka. Ooh, Cursed Crown sounds really familiar. Is that Marissa Mayer? Am I making this up? Reka, tell me. That sounds... I don't know. Have either of you two heard of it?
Sounds familiar. Cannot remember the author.
You have a vote for How to Sell a Haunted House, by the way, from Nicole. Hi. Yes. Thank you for joining us. Ooh, excellent. Is that the, I'm so bad at this, second or third in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series? Good. Yeah, third, I think, maybe.
Yes.
I really like those books. Have you read those, Kasha?
No, I still need to read them. Yeah, I still need to even get them. Like, I wanted to buy them at Yog, but I was buying so much stuff that I decided to wait because those I can get anywhere. So, yeah.
This is true.
Most likely will be back to Yog this year. Most likely.
Yay,
so.
Please do. I'm definitely going to go. I don't know whether I'm a guest there yet, but I will go anyway, whether I am or not. I nearly said something I'm not allowed to say then, but managed to catch myself. I'm going to just move on. Yes, I mean, Reka isn't the biggest horror fan of Red Frozen Charlotte, and we didn't put her off the book club forever, so thank you. I do feel like Reka's very supportive, though, so you'd probably read it anyway. You're very kind. Let's keep going through. Yes, Agreed. To me, 90s slashers are the horror movie golden age. But I think that's maybe because I was a teenager at the kind of time that they were peaking. So it all came together like really great movies and me being the right age for it. We were talking about Final Destination at work the other day, and I still conclude that that's one of the scariest things I've ever watched because it's just so like the real situations that the characters are in. Like every time I lean over my computer, I'm like, oh God, no liquid near it. Final Destination. So
we see it all the time, like at home when I'm talking to friends across the pond and everything. We are the Final Destination generation. You can drive down the motorway, and if you see one of those lorries with logs on the back, you move away. You've learned that
exactly.
lesson.
I'm so careful crossing the road. I'm sure. I mean, I would be anyway, but like to the point where sometimes I'll like check again, still clear, keep checking.
I've seen this movie. I'm not living that life.
Yeah, I think that certain films did leave a little bit of an impression, probably.
Have you watched The Frighteners yet?
I haven't. I instantly forgot that you told me to watch it, and now I've seen your face again. And yeah,
I think I went to the cinema to watch that one when I was like teeny tiny.
Thank you, Kesha. Somebody else who's seen it apart from me and Amanda.
Yeah,
honestly.
I actually went to the cinema. It was the only time that I asked a guy out for a date myself. And I was like a young teenager, and I asked him out, and I took him to see The Frighteners.
Exquisite taste. I would ask for a second date if that was me.
I think you're really saying something about your personality if you take a guy to that film, like from what you two told me about. I've just written it down. I feel bad. I really need to watch that. It's 80s as well, isn't it? And I need
1996.
I'm 90.
It's 1996. So Mina will watch it in just a couple of months' time.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm
for
not
research purposes, you need to.
If I'm still writing those books by then. We will see. We will see. It could be that I already know when this series is going to end, potentially. And know the sort of storyline, maybe.
Tease.
It's not going to be a 27-book series. I can't do it. I can't do like the Charlene Harris, Laura K. Hamilton. I don't have the brain capacity for it. Oh, it's okay. I remember now. It is Catherine Webber and I've forgotten the other author's name. Who wrote the Vendetta series, Cat. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Yes, 2 UKYA authors wrote it together, and it's apparently very good fantasy. So awesome! I didn't realize the sequel for that was coming out. I still need to read the first one. I'm so behind; it is unbelievable. I think it's probably a good time to go to a sprint because we've had a lot of fun horror movie chat, but I do need to start writing something vaguely scary. So, Catherine Doyle, thank you so much. I knew it was one of the Catherines. The problem is there's so many awesome Catherine authors. I was working through my head like Kat Ellis, Kat Dunn, Catherine Foxfield. Thank you for finding the correct Catherine for me. Saved by Raymond. Okay, I've marked where we're up to in the comments. I'm going to use the Pomodoro Kitty. So if you have real cats, please mute it at the end if you don't want your cats to jump. If you don't want to jump, feel free to also mute it. I just find it really motivating to have that little kitty staring at me. So I'm going to pop it on for 40 minutes. So we will see you on the other side. Hello, everyone. Try and say that gently so I don't make anybody jump. Any more than the kitty already did.
Oh, sky
How
high.
did you do? How did you get on, Claire?
Pretty well. It's been a long time since I've read New Moon.
Oh, did you go for Twilight in the end?
Yeah, I'm too eager to do the Twilight reread. Relive I wasn't a teeny book when I was the old when that when it came out first time. So just eager to get back into it. Yeah.
Can't resist the podcast books.
It's the bread and butter.
You know, can't deny I didn't do any reading. I wrote about 700 words, which I could do doing that again, and then I'll be fine for today. And so if I can do that and maybe a little bit of the editing stuff that my friend set me on the path of today, then that'll be good. But I haven't managed to read any of Josh's book. I really want to. Maybe in the last sprint, I'll see if I can squeeze some of that one in. How about you, Kasha? Oh, you're moving a little bit. This is promising.
Am I moving?
Oh, yeah, you did. Still slightly delayed, but more than you were before.
Okay.
So how did you get on?
So I read 44 pages. I'm going a bit slow because I'm taking notes as well. I've decided this year I'm gonna make new videos on my channel of like every new release that I read that is horror. I'm gonna do a short video to review the book spoiler free, but it still include enough information, like extra information for people that are interested, but they still are unsure if they want to pick it up or not. So I'm gonna include a bit more info on what I normally tell people about the book if I just recommend it or whatever. If they want to go a bit more in depth on the themes and things that are in the book, but without spoiling it. So I'm taking notes of all like new releases that I'm reading at the moment.
That's a very good idea. The amount of times I go to talk about a book and I'm like, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have to?
This is the bonus to audiobooks. That's the bonus of when you listen to them as an audiobook.
Yeah, true.
You can bookmark and make a note at that stage. Because I'm terrible at notation while I'm reading a book.
Yeah, you go so in depth as well, don't you, with the fictional hangover stuff? Like you really summarize a book. Like, is that quite difficult? Do you have to do a lot of kind of making notes and research as you go?
Honestly, I think it depends on the book. If it's like Twilight, Amanda's covering those summaries. We have to divide up the work. She covers the Vampire Book Club books. And we do tend to I don't know her methodology is exactly the same each time either, but for example, there's a book we're covering next month that's just been released, Six Kisses We Almost Had and One That We Did, Tess Sharp. It's just come out. Spoilers, we're covering it in March. And we may have the author on. And I'm going to be summarising that one, but I actually listened to the audiobook yesterday when I was in the office at work. Hammered through the whole thing. Haven't written a lick of the summary. But next, my job is to get the ebook. And when I've got the ebook, I can sit with it in front of me and my computer, and I can then work through it. It helps to hear it, to get the main points, so we know what we need to hit. And it may be that there's the odd storyline side character that we don't need to include because they don't necessarily bring anything to the overall story arc. And murder mysteries especially are really difficult. Like I think somebody in your chat's covering the Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Yeah.
And we've already covered all 3 of the books, so the episodes are out there. And I summarised those ones, and it's so hard because there's so many red herrings that the first time I wrote the first one, the Good Girl's Guide to Murder summary, it was like 6 hours long. It would have taken forever. And then you go through and just kind of cut out so many of the red herrings, but just leave a couple in for teasers. And it takes a lot of practice to actually get the summaries. I quite like doing graphic novels because they're short and sweet.
I feel like I need you to summarize my books for me because I thought I got away with not doing a book 2. One of my publisher was like, "Oh, we need it for X, Y, or Z for I don't know why," and I was like, "Oh."
Both the meters are on the website.
Well, that's it. Maybe I should just wait next time and be like, Yeah, I'll just use the visual hangover one, actually. It's so difficult. I don't ever know what to leave out. I'm really bad at writing really long summaries of stuff, and I don't know, especially when I've written it, I've got no like objectivity of what's important. Like, everything's important. I can't cut that character out.
Yeah, I think it's a reader, it's a bit different because we latch onto the sassy characters, or if we get a little bit sassy. So in Twilight, because you can't separate Twilight book from Twilight movie quite so easily anymore. I think you might start it off reading the books, but everybody's probably watched the movies a million times. Charlie's character is, in, as we refer to him, Smoking Hot Billy Buck / Charlie. So all the way through the summaries and forevermore, Charlie will always be Smoking Hot Billy Buck / Charlie. And there was another one where it was Kim with a Y in another series, and we just kind of get obsessed with these like saltiness, the salty characters. You can always tell we get a little sarcastic as well. With love, we do it with love.
I mean, you do. You're very nice. Even when I think sometimes I can tell that I'm like, this obviously wasn't one of your favourite things. You're very nice. Diplomatic.
You can't say anything nice. Don't be. There's no reason to be mean about it.
Yeah, I think to me, if you're going to spend your time reading a whole book, it's worth making sure that you are likely to like it. And I know that you sometimes get it wrong, don't you? But I generally try and only pick books now that I think I'm really, really going to like, because there's so many choices out there. So if my reviews generally are positive, it's genuine that I usually liked the book, you know?
I do quite like. There's only 2 books I think we've ever covered that I've actually actively, and I will tell people I do not like these books. But to listen to the episodes, will direct people and go listen to the episode, because it's so funny how much we just kind of rant.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ranted on one of my YouTube videos. There are a couple of books recently that I wasn't that keen on, and I didn't feel really strongly like hated them, so I just felt a bit ambivalent, and I think my review probably reflected that. I can't think often that I've hated a book, because I generally put them down if something makes me so angry. Like, I read a chapter and I'm like, nope, can't even.
I never do that. I will always finish a book, much to my. It can take me months, but I will get there.
Wow. We've had this conversation, I'm sure, before, Kasha. I can't remember where you come out on that. Do you finish books or do you DNF?
I tend to try to push through. It's rare that I DNF a book. I'm the same with movies, but movies don't take me so long to watch. But I don't rant so much about books. I just feel like it's just not the author for me, or the writing style, or the characters, or, I try to find what is bothering me. But with movies, I rant more because sometimes book adaptations piss me off. Sometimes remakes piss me off. So those, I feel like with movies, I rant a lot more. Or the last Halloween movie, which you can just throw it to the garbage.
Oh, see, I didn't
throw it away.
I haven't watched the last one yet. I watched the one before last and wasn't that impressed with it, so I haven't rushed out to watch the one before last. I just didn't think it was necessary. I was like, that could have been actually the important things from that could have been fit in the film before.
Yeah.
To me, they were just eking out the story because the one important thing plot wise, in my opinion, happened in the film before last, and that could have just been in the. I don't know. I don't like it when they're trying to span something out just to keep the money going. It's not for me. Let's see what people in the comments think of what they've been reading. You've sold another copy, well, a library loan of Patricia Wants to Quill. I'm going to get it as well, so you sold that one really well. Hi, Ashlyn. We will keep you accountable. I hope you worked very hard during that sprint. I think you're very disappointed with yourself if you didn't. I do know Ashlyn quite well, everybody, so I'm not being mean to a complete stranger, just in case you're wondering. Hi, thank you for joining us. Excellent name. I feel like I am with you on that. Very much a mood reader. Well done, Nicole. Oh, what is the name of your channel, Kasha?
It's Kasha's Book Cemetery.
Excellent. I always have to check because you have the horror movie one as well. Is that one, Kasha?
I think I left that one in Wonderland, I think.
Yeah, in Wonderland, yes. Awesome. Oh, you'll have to let us know, Hannah, what your book is and what you think of it in the next one. Yay! We love Fiction Hangover. Yes, and it's really useful. I need to remember next time I'm picking up a series to check that you know, like if I'm reading the subsequent books, like just read the summary. Oh, the kitty's meowing at us. What have I done wrong? Oh, I didn't pause time. yeah, they're useful. If, like with the Good Girl's Guide to Murder, for example, if you're on the second or third book, just read the summaries of the earlier ones because so much happens in those books. Yes,
Thank
definitely.
you.
And join in with the read along. I don't know whether people know how the book club works, but Fictional Hangover have a couple of sort of catchphrases, all vampires all the time.
All vampires all the time.
And the best cure for, I always mangle this one,
The
correct me
only
if I say it
cure
wrong.
for a fictional hangover
Thank
is
you.
another book. You've got to do the shoulder wiggle. It
Yeah,
happens
I
at
always
every
feel like I
episode.
want to say the best cure. I don't know why. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Only
yeah.
cure.
The only cure.
Yeah. So I say we because I usually read along with you. Last year we read the True Blood books, like one book a month, and then 2 in the last month. It was so fun. I absolutely had a great time. I'm very grateful to you for getting me to do that because I've planned to forever.
I'm so pleased I managed to finish the series. The last 3 books I never read.
I think I'd not read the last maybe 5 of them or something. So yeah, it was all new to me, a lot of that. And this year it's Twilight. And then have we announced what's coming after Twilight, or is that still
Well, the plans fell through because it was supposed to be a series, which I'm not going to say, and the book was supposed to be released in February, but it's now been pushed back to the end of the year, so that's not possible.
Okay.
We've got some plans, but I keep pushing, and we are tempted to actually cover Life and Death and a short life of Brie Tanner. I always get that wrong.
The short second life of Brie Tanner or something like that.
It's literally right next to me. I can just check. The short second life of Brie Tanner.
Yeah.
So tempted, and that may be for a live episode. We have thought about that.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. Yeah. But we are excited. So our book club, it's 1 book every month.
Yeah.
We do have a Facebook group. But we have a Zoom call on the last Tuesday of the month. UK guys, it's an unsociable hour of 11 o'clock at night, but that's because we are split from the UK and the US, so we do try and cover everybody, and it's a hilarious laugh. It's really, really funny.
They're so good, but I've never heard that one live just because I can't stay up till 11 o'clock. I'm sometimes up at 11 with my toddler, but I don't intentionally stay up till 11 o'clock because he still wakes me in the night, so I can't.
Oh, the last time I was in my PJs, I got ready for bed. I've now completely forgotten about book club.
I think we know you well enough by now. It's fine. I'm wearing pajama bottoms right now in case anybody hasn't noticed.
Same.
Scream t-shirts, comfy pajama bottoms.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm there with you, Caroline. We're so similar in our reading tastes. Like this month, in my book club, the YA one, we are reading a fantasy, and me and Caroline were both like, "Ooh, fantasy!" But we're actually enjoying it. The Witchery is this month's choice.
I'm halfway through.
Yeah, what do you think of it so far? Without too many spoilers, are you enjoying it?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I like some of it. I'm not sure.
I'm surprised.
Undecided.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much I like it. It took me a little while to get. I think fantasy, where I struggle, is like the mythology and all the characters and stuff, and making it all stick in my head. So once I've got that, I was like away with it, and I just devoured the first part. But I do like witch stuff. I tend to, although I forget that that's classed as fantasy. Like people sometimes say, "I enjoyed your fantasy book," and I'm like, "Wow, I write fantasy." Like I don't think of my stuff as fantasy. I think of it as like paranormal. So people hear me saying I'm not a big fantasy reader, and they go, "You've written a couple of fantasy books." Yeah, let's see what the next. Yes, so that's the current month. Is that right, Claire? So that's the February read.
Yeah, so this will drop the last Wednesday. The podcast episode drops the last Wednesday of the month, and we're doing the videos as well. So if you go over to the Fictional Hangover YouTube channel, you can watch. You can watch us, mainly me fubbing up the summary. The audio is a lovely edit. Thank you, Amanda, for making me sound better than I actually am. But if you head up to the YouTube, you can actually watch the unedited videos of us recording, which has usually got some ridiculousness and 5 minutes of us laughing that have to be edited out for audio purposes. There is also on our YouTube channel a wonderful Halloween special with Amy, where we're in full costume. And
oh God,
the lovely horror authors.
Was that the one where Kendra Blake wore a turkey on her head?
Yes. Kendra Blake had a turkey on her head.
We're all going to dress up a bit. Like we all went a bit spooky, and Kendra comes with like Thanksgiving turkey head.
First 10 minutes of that video was just us laughing.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Yes, you do. Anybody who needs a little bit of a pick me up needs to watch that, because that turkey has even the thought of it makes me feel really happy. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. There's lots that can be said about that. I just think if you want to read it, then read it, and don't let other people kind of weigh in on that. I think your choices are yours to make, aren't they? I didn't even know that was a book, so that's obviously completely passed me by. I'm so out of touch. So I'm assuming that's his autobiography.
yeah. I've seen it. I've seen the like him on Instagram advertising it as well.
I don't know. I'm so bad with certain things. Like I've seen Prince Harry's autobiography doing the rounds of because that seems to be everywhere.
I have no intention of watching that, reading that. Sorry.
No, same here. I'm just not. That's not my thing. But again, obviously, millions of people disagree with us. So, I'm of the read what you want to read school of thought. Yes, you should, Nicole. I really enjoyed them. There were some that were better than others, I feel, and some characters are more fully developed than others. But overall, it's just really fun. And if you've watched the TV show, it's enough like that I think you'll enjoy it. But also bits where you go, hang on, wait. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like they went in really different directions with some of the characters. Like Jason, I'm quite glad. I think the TV show Jason I liked more than the book Jason. I don't know your thoughts about that, Claire. I really liked
definitely.
And in the books, he's a bit of an unpleasant character.
He's a jerk.
Yeah, he gets better. I was trying to think of a nice way to say it, but yeah.
I can think of some other words, but
yeah,
jerk
I know.
is probably the most polite.
All of those words came into my head, and I couldn't think of a better one to say. Yeah, I like generally what the TV show did. I think that they made some character improvements. Yeah, me too. I haven't particularly been following it, and yet they've still been kind of regularly smacking me in the face on the newsfeed. So, yeah. Yes, I don't know, Claire. I'm sort of fairly equal.
The TV show was fine next to the book, and then suddenly it took this like right turn off into some weird beyond place. But I think it was more inclusive, the TV show.
Yeah.
Bill's character was certainly better in the TV show, whereas we referred to him as Boring Bill the entire time.
I've made a CD about vampires. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of the series.
I think we had a nipple count on Eric, though, so, on the other hand.
Eric is quality in both, I feel, the TV show and the books. Like, I mean, he's not the nicest characters, but there's... And Alcide, I think, was more likable in the TV show than the books. In the books, he annoyed me.
Oh, he got so bad.
And, like, not good bad, like, just bad.
Irritating. He became a man.
Yeah. Lafayette, yes. I mean, I think that the casting of Lafayette's character was too good to... I don't want to spoil anything, but like certain book decisions about that character, I'm glad the TV show did not do them.
Yes.
Eric is one of my probably top 3 vampires, maybe top 4.
Well, we all know who number 1 has to be.
Yeah, I'm not in the room that somebody the other day I'd put one of my like Buffy background pictures up, and they were like, is Spike your favourite vampire by any chance? I was like, what gave it away? Like the 5-foot tall puppet behind me.
Wow, rumour has it James Masters is coming to a convention near me.
Several people have sent me this, and I'm like, I think I might need to come and visit you again. And I
saw it and I went, oh, Amy needs to know. Amy will know. You will psychically
I know. It's funny, the stuff that gets sent to me. Like a while ago, there was a thing in the news of like a body that may or may not have been a vampire, and about 10 people sent me like, come on, have you seen this? I like it. Please keep sending me the weird, vaguely vampire related stories. I'm there for it. I sometimes need story ideas and they help. I think we should do another sprint. There's probably going to be, I say probably, I do this every week. I don't know why I act like it's a surprise. We're going to do another 40-minute sprint and then have a little chat and then a 30-minute one. By that point, I'll be completely incoherent, so apologies in advance. I'm quite tired already. So I have to wrap it up, otherwise I'd start just spilling all my secrets and talking nonsense. So yeah, it usually wraps up about 10 o'clock, so sorry if anybody wanted to go longer, You can read without us, but we will be keeping the motivation going. Ashlyn, if you're still here, I hope you're going to get lots of words done. And this one you said to hold you to account. So this is me. I also need to do that. So let's work on this together. If you want a little friendly competition, I'm not going to be very good, but I'll try. So I'm going to mark the last comment, 40 more minutes, and we will see you on the other side. Let us know in the comments what you've been getting up to. Hello, everyone. We're back. How did you get on, Kasha? I can't hear you at the moment. I can see you now and you're moving a little bit. Can you hear Kasha, Claire?
No.
Oh, we've lost your sound now, Kasha. I unmuted you, but I don't know whether anything's happening with your settings. Any luck? I think we might have lost you. I don't know whether you can hear us, Kasha, but you're sort of frozen. Oh, okay. Not frozen. Can you say something, Kasha? We'll see if we can hear you. No, I don't think the sound's working. I don't know. Do you think refreshing would be a good idea at this point? Yeah. Would you be able to refresh, Kasha, and hopefully we might be able to get you back. I'll invite you back in. And while Kasha's doing that, I'll ask Claire how she got on with the sprints. How you got on with sprints. How did you get on, Claire?
We're about 100 pages through, and I've had the infamous chapters where it's just the months.
Oh yes, I remember those. Like Bella sits still and does nothing. And
yeah,
I remember reading that the first time and being like, even like mid-20s obsessed with Twilight me did a little sigh.
Yeah, it's problematic. I fully admit there are problems with this series.
There are some. I mean, I reread Twilight, I think, around last Halloween. And I really enjoyed it still, but I didn't have that like intense, absolute obsession with it that I had the first time I read it. I was like, oh, I enjoy this. I see some issues. Kasha is just a white screen, which I'm not sure is a good thing. I'm going to add you. Can you hear me, Kasha?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Yay.
we can hear you. Awesome. You're back. I don't know whether you could hear Claire, Kasha, but she was just talking about the kind of duality of Twilight. Like, we still love you, but you're a little bit, like, not the thing we... It doesn't feel the same, does it? Like, as it did back in the day.
I never read it as a teenager, so I don't have that kind of teeny bopper attitude towards it. Even when I read it the first time, in my...
I was in my 20s when it came out, I think.
Yeah, I was in my 20s as well. God, that feels so long ago. And even then I knew it was problematic, but I had a bit of forgiveness for it because it probably actually reignited my love for vampire fiction because there just wasn't a lot around at that point.
Yeah, same.
So I can forgive it, but this is where the book versus movie debate comes in, and did the movies actually help make it a little bit more easy to accept?
I think so, until Breaking Dawn and like CGI child. Yeah. How about you, Kasha? You weigh in on this debate. Have you watched the Twilight films? Have you read the Twilight books?
I found the book randomly at a bookstore.
Okay.
Also in my early 20s, I didn't know what the book was about. I just saw it and I was like, oh, a new book about vampires. Maybe I'll give it a shot. And I'm glad I did that before the movies came out. I feel like the second book, it was still okay, but then it just went downhill for me. And I was struggling like hell to finish the last book. Like I just couldn't.
Same here. Yeah.
I was just struggling. And the movies, I mean, I probably would watch, like I watched them all one time, and I think like I don't feel like I should rewatch them.
That's fair. That's fair.
I really enjoyed the first film and was obsessed with it and watched it like absolutely loads of times. And I think the same with the books. By the time I got to Breaking Dawn, I don't know if it's because I was older or because the book was a little different, like it was longer and stuff. It took me a long time to read, and like the kind of domesticity of it, which I think a lot of people liked. Like my friends there was obsessed with like the domestic side. I don't think that's what I was into at that point. So I don't know. I do need to reread that one. So I think I'm going to try and do this with you, Claire. Like read them and see if I can handle it.
One of our super fans, Annie, has never read Twilight, and she declares herself as a woman of a certain age. And she read the first book with us in January, and was raging during book club. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. But then when she listened to Amanda and I talking about it, she was like, I'm taking this far too seriously. I don't need to take it as this, I mean, problematic pieces of literature. There's worse out there. Because we just just took the fun elements out, what we really enjoy, and kind of went, yeah, we acknowledge X, Y, and Z, but come on, Smoking Hot Billy Burke / Charlie, and you know what, Jacob,
Yeah.
come on, man, you're 15 and you're about 3 foot, you're not going to pull Bella, and just taking those elements that we enjoyed out.
Yeah. And at its heart, it is a book about sparkly vampires. So I
Yes.
feel that any kind of serious discourse around it is sort of overshadowed by that. So
we got hung up on the idea that Edward in the meadow shows Bella his sparkly skin, and he's wearing a button-down an open button-down shirt that's sleeveless. Why?
That's very true. I need to like reread, and yeah, not really occurred to me that it was sleeveless. I think in the film it wasn't. I'm
No.
quite sure they might have fixed that.
And at least the movies have La Push Baby, La Push. You know, there's all these just little things like, you know, climb on Spider Monkey that aren't in the book, and you find those elements. And I freely admit, I read the first 2, devoured them, read Eclipse, and got angry, so angry I couldn't read Breaking Dawn. And it wasn't until I was off work, really ill, and I'm bored of daytime TV, and I picked it up and read it and was actually Breaking Dawn's not too bad.
I can't really remember Eclipse. Again, I think I probably only read that one once. I've read Twilight like a lot, and then maybe New Moon a couple of times. Eclipse, I'm not really sure. So I think that's the Twilight part of the discussion. Akasha, how did the other non-Twilight reading go?
Good. I'm like 40 more pages in, so around 83 pages so far. I'm enjoying it, so we shall see. Because I mean, Grady Hendrix is to me the M. Night Shyamalan of the movies. It's like it's either a hit or a miss, and a lot of times I'm super on board, and then something happens and I'm like, oh no, or I don't like the ending. Like M. Night Shyamalan is like, why did you end it like this? Like, no. So I feel like I'm conflicted, but I keep reading his books, and I kind of like his books, but I have like a weird relationship with his novels. You know, it's like I love it, but not really. It's like, I don't know.
I feel like I do this to you too often, Kasha, but can you like read it for me and tell me if I like it at the end of it? Because I trust your opinion at this point that like if the grief and the parenting stuff overshadows the other parts.
That's still going on. I don't know how far you've gotten, but I'm on page 83 and they're still going on about funeral arrangements and stuff.
Yeah, see, I may be at a similar point, I think, possibly. I think I was like at funeral. I'm trying to push through. I'm doing what you said, Claire, like trying to push through to the horror. But yeah, I might pause for a bit, Cash. I'll let you read it and then tell me how long that goes on and if I will be able to cope.
Have you read The Cabin at the End of the World then, Amy?
No, for that reason, no.
Tremblay. I did. I think Shelley put a post on social media, Point Horror Shelley, and she just read it and I was like, I read it a few months ago and I'm still devastated. I haven't seen the movie, I haven't had a chance to get a babysitter to go and see the movie, and if it's the same, you won't be able to cope.
No, people told me this. People keep saying, read a Paul Tremblay book, and I read the back of them, and I'm like, no. Isn't the one where it starts and one of the main characters, like, it's about a couple and one of them's died? I'm just like, nope. So, like, there's certain things I really can't cope. Like, couple really in love, one dead. Nope. Done. So yeah, I think that he just goes, and I know that that's what horror's about. It's kind of pushing the bounds of comfort and stuff like that. But there's certain authors that I just can't vibe with the way they do it. And this is the first Hendrix where I'm like, ooh, there's stuff I don't like about the others, and there's some that I like more than others. But this one is the first one that I'm finding hard. So we will see. I'll let Kasha hold my hand through it.
Yeah, I really like Cabin at the End of the World. I watched the movie the other day. Actually, my movie review is coming. It's already out right now. And M. Night Shyamalan changed the second part of the film. It's not exactly like the book, I knew he was gonna change the ending because I understand why.
Yeah.
But I have to say I don't like the movie's ending. I rather have the book's ending. I sound the
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
feel like even an ending that you disagree with or makes you angry, I think if the author had that intention, that it should be honoured. I know that other books have done that. Like The Horse Whisperer, randomly, I seem to recall I don't think I've read or watched it, or maybe I've done one but not the other. But yeah, I don't know. I always found it weird when an author's intention has been
One
kind
of
of.
us is lying. I'm still angry at the ending of season 1 to the point where I cannot watch season 2 because a fundamental change has
Okay.
thrown it off for me. I can't. I'm angry over it.
Yeah, there was a thing in the book that I had some queries over, so I'd be interested to see what the TV show did with that. I'm trying to talk really carefully because I don't want to spoil anything for people. I may need to watch the TV show just to see.
The
I haven't had
TV show's really, really good, but there's a fundamental aspect of what happens in a book, especially when it's a murder mystery, that you don't change. And the TV
Yeah.
show changed it, so they are very two different beasts. But I
Okay.
can't watch season 2 because of it now. But it's cancelled, so
Oh, so did it get cancelled after season 2 then?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I know that because I think sometimes I get invested and I'm like, oh, where is the rest of it? And it doesn't exist. I mean, we're fairly similar, Ashlyn. I got up to about 1,200 words, which is my kind of minimum that I try to write in a day at the minute. But that's good. You're not that far behind me. And that was me really pushing today. It felt difficult. I've been really enjoying writing this book so far. And this is the first day where I've gone, oh, that felt hard. And I'm at, I think, 12,000 words, which is sometimes a point where I do start to feel like I'm wading through it because there's a lot of kind of stuff that's happened. And then you're thinking about what's you're going ahead to. So hi, thank you for joining us. We have one more sprint, so if you want to stay around, we're doing another 30 minutes very shortly. Good evening. I feel like you spent your time wisely.
I
Yes.
feel like this conversation should have happened online.
Yeah, I know. Like you've been on screen for that. We would have all been there with you for that. I hope that the outcome was Buffy rules, True Blood's really good. I hate to try and sway you, but I think that there's certain subjects that are kind of difficult to argue with. Oh, yeah, I mean, again, you're allowed to have your opinions of books. I'm not going to police you and say you can't love that bit of Twilight. You enjoy that bit. That is fine. Yeah, see, my birthday is in November, and I seem to think that most of the films came out around then. So, like, we had a thing where me and my friends and now husband, I think, were we married then? Don't know. Anyway, husband, all went to see them as a group, and then did the same for the Hunger Games films. And then, like, when we ran out of those, we kind of went, "Oh, what do we watch on my birthday now?" It hasn't been the same since. Yeah, I get that. I have really fond memories of that. Okay. That's cool. Okay. So a lot of people have said that and make me think I need to push through the stuff that I find difficult in it. So, okay, I'm going to trust you so far, Kay. I'll let Kasha make the final decision and go with Kasha's.
I'll sacrifice for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If you need to read anything that isn't laden with grief on your behalf, I will also do that. Ask me about any of the YAs I've read and I will give you the full rundown. So I managed to get to my target. I'm just working through my friends' like edit suggestions and kind of internalizing them. And I'm using my It notebook.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
So this is my current work in progress notebook. I always have like a work in progress notebook. So this is the one where I'm thrashing out I've got kind of 2 work in progress at the minute. That's probably not a good idea, but this is one of them. So I'm going to do that for a slight bit more, and then I'm going to read some of this. Benedicta, Josh Winning's book. So hopefully read chapter 2 of that. Are you continuing New Moon, Claire, in the last sprint?
Yeah, I'm going to crack on through, and then I think I might enjoy some City of Ghosts when I go to bed.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, we'll have a quick chat at the end in half an hour. Kasha, are you continuing with the Hendrix?
Yeah, I'm doing it for you now, so I have to.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Don't feel if you want to DNF it, don't feel you have to, because I think you DNFing it would also say a lot. Being that you DNF
I don't really DNF. I really push through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. At least I like the writing. I feel like when the writing is really not for me and I'm not getting into the book, that's when I have the biggest issue.
Yeah.
That's when I just can't
Yeah.
because I am just bored, but it's not the case. I do like his writing. It's just sometimes the story doesn't go where I want it to go, I guess.
Yeah, the writing is great as usual. Like you said, it's just some of the content is my scary stuff. So yeah, I'll see how you get on with it. We will come back together. I'm just going to change the kitty to 30 minutes because it has got to that point of the day where my brain is slowing down, threatening to, give up on me. So I will pop the 30-minute timer on, and I will see you all in half an hour. Hello.
Hello.
It was a bit slow off the mark then. I was reading the book. It's so good. So good. I'm up to page 56, which is about a sixth of the way through. I don't want to finish it. It's like, you know, and the writing's really good and the plot and everything comes together and it looks amazing in the book. I'll not do too much of a spoiler, but it's got like little bits of various mixed media. It's great. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of those that in a few days I'm going to be done because it's awesome. So that was a good way to end the day, although it's horror reading it at bedtime, but you know, I like to.
Are there
live
many
day-
note situations in it?
Sorry, I missed that. What did you
Are
say?
there many note situations? Like, you go in there, nope, not doing that.
So far, I don't know. Like the main character is really like, you know, sometimes in horror things, like you think like, why are you like that? Like she's reacting in a really believable way for the situation that she's in.
Yeah.
Like I understand her, and she's really into Winona Ryder films randomly. So I'm like, yes, you're really cool. Obviously, it's because Josh is really cool and has good taste in movies and stuff, because he also reviews films and things and writes freelance. So he's written for Total Film and stuff. So he knows his movies. So yeah,
That's where I know his name from.
Yes, yeah, Josh is awesome, and I don't really remember how I know Josh. I think we met at Comic-Con maybe, because he had a stall there one year. Yeah, he's a very cool human being and author. So always good to know. The comments are pretty quiet, so I think we will probably wrap this up fairly soon. If there's anything you want to say to us, say it now. But we'll just pop to Kasha and see, how did you get on with Grady? Have you broken 100 pages yet?
Yeah, I'm on page 118. And something has finally happened.
Yay!
It's a little bit weird, but
Okay.
we'll see, because it just happened. So I will see how I feel about it.
Just need some time to process, maybe. It's hard, isn't it, to talk about horror when you're in it. I don't think this, I don't know, I feel like there isn't too much to spoil, but I think with Grady Hendrix it's like so specifically weird that if you say anything, it kind of gives it all away.
No, it's like everything was going like standard, and then there's certain things you can imagine that might happen, but then something happened and you're like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah,
That's
I'm guessing
that's basically what happened.
It's up a few things that could occur.
It's not what you expect.
Okay.
I'm 100% sure.
And you can probably guess what I'm expecting with the dolls and stuff. Having just read Frozen Charlotte as well, I've got a very definite way I think it's going to go. So yeah, you kind of make me want to read it so far. So we'll see. I want to know if like the kind of human emotion side of it that makes me so uncomfortable is going to carry on, or whether it gets properly into horror. Because I think that's why I like stuff like this of Josh's. It delves into the emotion of what the character's doing, but it's not anything that I feel like I can't handle. Like I feel safe reading this. I don't feel like it's kind of pushing me into any things that I'm not happy with so far. Ashlyn is also joining in with the burn the negative look. I don't really know how it happened. I think Josh read my mind. I was literally like, I saw that Dawn was reading a kind of, I think, a non-designed up version. And I was like, I need to message Josh and see if there's any more of those knocking around, because I really want one. And he messaged me like, the proofs are coming. Do you want one? Yes. Yes, please. So I keep looking at
question.
I know, like, of course I do. Because I read a proof of The Shadow Glass last year as well, which I think is his adult debut. He'd written some YA books previously.
I just bought that the other weekend. It's literally sitting behind me.
You need to bump it up the list. It's really good. And maybe watch some 80s films while you're watching it to kind of properly get you in the mood. Have you read that one, Kasha? I'm sorry if you've just said that.
No, I got it at Yalk, and I got it signed by him, and it's on my shelf, but I'm like, oh, I wonder when I'm gonna be like, I need a fantasy now, like, because I'm waiting for that sweet moment when I'm in the mood for it. But I'm really excited. I did read something by him before, which is a horror novella that he covered with someone else. I think it's Camp Slaughter or something about a camp where teenagers, obviously, it's kind of Friday the 13th kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds fun. I haven't read that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's a camp where parents send their queer children in order to change them back. And then there's kind of some sort of like slasher going on. And I read it like years ago, and that's the first time that I ever saw his name on a book or anything that I read. So, I'm excited that he's going back a little bit to horror.
Yes,
Obviously.
I mean, his fantasy was great, and it's the kind of fantasy that doesn't intimidate me because I could actually follow it, and like the names weren't really big and stuff. Like it had this rich kind of high fantasy background, but it felt grounded in a world I can recognize too. Speaking of slashers, Don't Fear the Reaper arrived today. Are you planning to read that one, Kasha?
Probably. I did read the first one and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get it eventually as well.
Yeah, I really liked the first one. Have you read My Heart's a Chainsaw, Claire?
Not yet. No. I wouldn't be surprised if Amanda's got an hour schedule
it sounds like
somewhere.
that kind of thing. It's got fictional hangover written all over the title at the very least, and it's got that like pop culture thing that you two discuss really well. I think you'd enjoy picking out all the references. I probably need you to do it actually and like point out the ones that I missed. That would be very helpful if you could do that.
I love one full of pop culture references, especially if it's 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it's mainly slasher because the main character is obsessed with slasher movies and thinks that a slasher arc is going to happen, like, and she's going to be in it. It's really good. I really liked it.
We do have cheesy horror month coming up, but we haven't scheduled anything for that yet.
Oh, yes, that sounds good. It does have the slight, I mean, I don't know, I'd say it's a similar vibe to Grady Hendrix, like in terms of writing style and stuff. Maybe not super cheesy, but yeah, definitely very referential of horror. Yay! Well done, Nicole. I feel like this has been a productive sprint all around.
Oh,
that is such a good idea. Yes, I should have done that. Regretting it. Maybe if I reread it, when I reread it, I'll do that. I did want to watch. It's very similar to The Dark Crystal too, and it made me want to watch all those, but I haven't done yet.
I would say to you, who doesn't have the Labyrinth soundtrack constantly going through their head at all times?
I mean, I do love it. I wouldn't say at all times, but maybe fairly regularly. And the image of David Bowie as well is probably permanently residing. Bowie, I always say that wrong.
I always say
residing in my brain.
And any time you've got anything in your hands, you can just go pretend that you've got the balls.
Obviously, you got to do it. Obviously. I don't think I'm very good at that, actually. Maybe I need to practice that a bit and just kind of bring out that skill on one of the live streams or something. I think on the subject of David Bowie's glass balls, which
probably a good way to end it.
And we can do that one. That's like a fictional hangover perfect quote, isn't it? Like
it'll be on a t-shirt by the end of next week.
Yeah, I get you to say something ridiculous, and Amanda, I don't know how they do it, but every time I say something that I regret, and they just find it the funniest thing. Like they managed to get me to admit that I would eat cheese that I've dropped on the floor.
I mean, who wouldn't eat cheese off the floor? Cheese is one of the greatest foodstuffs.
This is going to haunt me, though. Like I feel like at some point, if I'm ever a serious author, people are going to be like, "Yeah, but you eat floor cheese."
So, we're going to get you a t-shirt that just says, "I eat floor cheese." Ask me why.
I can't remember what I just said already, but I'm sure you'll go back and watch this to check and tell Amanda so she can put it on a t-shirt.
I'm going to just text her right now.
Yeah, I know too, please. Amanda, just watch the last 5 minutes of the sprint and listen to me talking about glass balls. On that note, good night, everyone. Please watch Labyrinth. I am talking about actual balls made of glass. I'm not making it any better. Yeah, watch Labyrinth and listen to Claire's podcast and watch Cash's YouTube channel, and then you'll be fine. Thank you, everyone who's been with us. Thank you, Nicole. My computer just made a slightly disturbing noise, which I think might mean, oh no, it's Cash's computer. Oh, is Cash's battery gone? I thought it was mine. Kasha took the good night literally, and her computer said good night too. So on that note, I'm hoping Kasha will pop back to say goodbye, but if she doesn't, good night, everyone, and thank you, Claire, for coming on for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that you'll
I've enjoyed being able to read.
Yay! And yeah, hopefully we can do a fictional hangover at some point in the near future as well.
Definitely.
Oh, Kasha might be back. Oh no, it says she's still there. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to end the broadcast there. So good night, everyone, and you will hopefully please join us next week if you'd like to do some more sprinting. So good night. Bye.